Welcome back to another fantastic property tour, Rankin family. Today, we are located in Nashville, Tennessee again, looking at another gorgeous luxury home. And I want to give a huge thank you to the listing agent, Ryan Long with Compass, for making this tour possible. I'll be sure to leave all of the information in the description below. Now, starting on the exterior, family, the first thing that certainly is apparent is that we have that mid-century modern design. In fact, this is the first time we've seen this particular style on this channel, and I'm so excited to bring to you this one. Now, the materials on the exterior, you see that we have the natural stone along with the painted brick. You have these massive picture windows, so an abundance of natural light enters inside of this home, and you're situated on just under an acre, so you have plenty of space in the front yard as well as the back, and we'll see that a little bit later on in the tour. Now, you have a ton of driveway available as well. Now, as far as the location is concerned, you are 5 minutes north of Brentwood and only about 15 minutes away from downtown Nashville. So if you need to be in close proximity to a major freeway or really need to get in town for whatever particular reason, business reasons or personal, you certainly have that ability with this property. Now, you have this covered front porch, as you can see, extremely massive, and you see that you have the wood soffit on the exterior, so a nice additional touch. Then you have these gorgeous pendant lights hanging down along with the candlelight lanterns. Now, before we head inside of here, you see that we have a custom wooden door, and everything inside of this property certainly was intentional and well thought out. And of course, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Okay. Look at this. So immediately whenever you walk into the foyer, this is exactly what you're greeted with. I'll turn you around so you can see the front door from the inside. And then look at this. You have the gorgeous brass sconce and the wooden accent wall. So adding some more character, really matching the front door. And then heading into your formal dining. Look at this. Love what I'm seeing. So you have an 8-seater dining room table, as you can see, and plenty of walk room to work with. And then of course you have your picture windows, bringing in some more natural light. So, and you know, we talk about that quite often. If it's something where you do need some privacy, you can always add the shades or the blinds and you won't have to worry. But with this being a new construction property, you just want the abundance of natural light to enter inside of this beautiful home. Now, I love how spacious this looks, and then you can see this gorgeous chandelier right above our dining room table. Then heading this way, you still have this buffer between the foyer and the great room. We'll see that in just a second. What I want to do is turn you this way and we'll head to our first bedroom. Before we do that, we have a coat closet right over here. And then you head right over here to look at how grand this looks. Oh, wow. So I'll pan you upwards so you see that slope design inside of here, but you have the clear story windows and then of course the additional picture windows right there. So a ton of light to work with. Now this is going to be your first bedroom, so a perfect guest suite. As you can see, they have it staged as an office, so that'll just give you an idea of what you could do. But you will have 2 bedrooms down, the additional 3 up, and then you have a bonus room and a flex space, and we'll see that too. So this one is en-suited. You have the hexagon tile and then the beautiful walk-in shower, as you can see. So you got the chrome shower valve, shower head, a massive shower niche right there as well. And then here, as look at this. So you're gonna have the stained oak cabinetry, and that's custom, and you're going to see that inside of the kitchen, so keep that in mind as well. But you have chrome hardware in here, and of course our walk-in closet, so generously spaced. As you can see, you have white oak floors throughout the home. Love that as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue. Before we head inside of here, I do apologize, I want to make sure that we see every single room possible. So this is your powder bath. Look at this. So you have this gorgeous floating vanity, beautiful wallpaper. That's going to be on all 4 sides, as you can see. And then you have your gold towel ring Gorgeous sconce. You'll notice the mirror extends all the way to the ceiling as well. Okay, so now let's go ahead and head into the great room. Look at this. So you have 12-foot ceilings inside of here and the kitchen. You have that partition wall, so separating the great room, open dining area to the kitchen. And then look at that. So you have 8-foot sliders inside of here. And if you didn't want to use the sliders, you have that quick access door leading you to your screened in porch, floor to ceiling, natural stone for our fireplace around, and then the arc of stone as well. So a nice combination, complements one another. And then I'll stand on this side so you can see the full scope of this room. So I love how much space you get inside of here. Now, if you didn't want to use that formal dining room, which a lot of folks don't, right? Unless it's a special occasion, then you have your open dining area where you're going to spend 98% of the time with the entire family. I could be wrong. And if I am, let me know in the comments. Now heading over here, look at this. So that stained oak cabinetry continues in here. You have that paneled refrigerator and freezer, Thermador appliances. You have your bar area over here. And then you will notice another bar between here and the dining. But you have a massive island. Look at your breakfast bar, waterfall countertops, gorgeous backsplash. You just need a pot filler, but of course that may not be a big deal to you. And then that stained oak continues over here. So plenty of prep space as far as on the island is, which is concerned. And then of course you have your picture window straight ahead over there. So before we continue, let's go ahead and take a look. We have our trash drawer right over here. All that soft close-in mechanism, even your paneled dishwasher is Thermador. You have a Scullery right around the corner. But as always, let's go ahead and make sure we see inside of some of these cabinets as well. I love our massive oversized range. You have plenty of drawer space inside of here. That's a 6-burner with your griddle. And then you have this sleek range hood right here with that same stained oak material. So I love that all of our appliances are Thermador, as you can see. You have plenty of space inside of there to hide that Diet Coke and store that Sprite or Powerade, depending on your personal preference, right? And then you can have your spices right over here. And now headed this way, look at this. So this is almost like its own separate room as far as your drop zone is concerned, or mudroom if you like to call it. You have this wallpaper on the top exterior. Then you have the shiplap, and that's going to be on all 3 sides. Got these custom racks, right, or hooks rather, wooden hooks. You got cubby space right underneath there, cubby space on the top, and then right behind me is your utility room. But look how massive this looks right here. Wow, you talk about the amount of counter space that you have in here. Very impressive. So in here you have that almost like that ripe olive color. You got stacked cabinetry again. You got your chrome hardware that complements it. Quartz countertops, your sink inside of your counters, overlooking that peace and tranquility. Look, we just saw a nice little birdie right there. You have a nice visitor. And then you have a ton of space for an oversized washer and dryer. So this is a wonderful laundry room. They did a fantastic job. You even have some additional storage right over here. And then this gorgeous modern light fixture. Now, of course, you haven't guessed, this is your garage. So this is going to be a 2-car, but you still have a decent amount of space to work with in here. So I love that we have that. And then you have that privacy glass as well. And it looked really good from the outside of the home too. Of course, at nighttime, it looks even better. Now, before we continue, let's go ahead and take a look at our scullery. So we have an additional sink right here, stainless steel. And then in here you have your stainless steel microwave, built-in stacked cabinetry. You have that same color that we just seen inside of the laundry room. You have an additional trash drawer and dishwasher. That one's still on the door as well. And then you got your space for your refrigerator, some additional counters, and then some more shelving all the way to the ceiling. So if you haven't let me know, please, I encourage you to let me know in the comments below how you're liking this home. Hopefully you like the exterior of the home, and if not, you certainly will love the inside, I hope. So in here you have that Calicotta marble, as you can see. You have some additional cabinetry. This one's painted that lighter sage green, so that'll just give you a reference. And this one was designed by Pichet. So if you know anything about them, they do a fantastic job of interior designer, or designing rather, inside of the Nashville area. So if you haven't, I encourage you to check them out. You can maybe Google them or look on Instagram and see their design. And I wanted you to see that firebox. You got that herringbone pattern as well. Now, if you haven't guessed, this will be leading you to your primary suite right over here to the left. Don't worry, this is not, not the primary suite. You got your closet right over there. So you can store as much as you need. Now, heading this way, look at this. Beautiful picture windows. You cannot tell me that's not a great view. Beautiful. So of course you got your candle chandelier right above your king size bed. Look at this view right here. Wow. Peace, serenity, the mature trees. Just a fantastic job of creating that private element. Now in here you will have the 15-foot ceilings, as you can see. So really airy, extremely spacious, almost like that sanctuary. And then what's fascinating about this, and I don't have the dimensions, I'll put them on the screen for you, but that's a king size bed, your 2 nightstands, and look at how much room you still have. So if you wanted to get a custom bed, maybe a 10-foot bed or something like that, you will have no challenges whatsoever fitting that inside of here. Okay, so heading inside of our primary bath, look at this, family. So you have that custom cabinetry here, that reeded design. As you can see, I'll do a close-up for you. The beautiful white cabinetry, or countertops rather. You got your modern sconces on both sides, an additional picture window, massive freestanding soaker tub right over there. And if that isn't enough, look how much room you have inside of this shower. So this one's gonna have that 0 threshold as well. You got your massive shower niche right above here. Look at that. Your 2 rain shower heads, dual shower heads as well. So much space to work with. Now I can already tell what you're thinking. We don't have a shower bench inside of here, but goodness gracious, everything else is on point. Now you will have or at least a massive closet. Walk in, we'll see that in a second. You got your water closet over there to the left. So you don't have the his and hers. However, look how much room you still have inside of here. I don't have the paint on this one. And trust me, before I start these tours, I always try my best to get you the paint, at least the name of it, for your own personal reference. And if I'm not 100% sure, I really don't like to mention it, because I don't want to throw you off and then you design your own home and you think it's this color and it's not, and I don't want to be held accountable for that. So anyway, you have a ton of built-ins available right here. You see the racks on both sides, your built-in drawers. You got your full body mirror here, plus more. So if you're 7'1", you have no challenges seeing your entire body. And then all 4 walls are painted, even the ceiling. Before we continue, got your towel closet right there. Okay. So like I said, and the cool thing is, there's, for this particular house, about maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and you're at a major freeway. But whenever you're outside, you don't hear that noise. It doesn't feel, extremely noisy, right? Whenever you are here, and if you are looking for a home, I encourage you to, look into this home, even drive by and really see for yourself. But it's extremely peaceful. Neighbors are extremely friendly as well. So that's always a plus. All right, before we continue, I just want you to see this. Look at this area right here. Wow. So you got a nice like staircase landing, and take advantage of that if you want to use that as a reading area. I don't know, something like that. Then heading here, you see you got your additional recessed area with your wooden accent wall. Now heading this way, before we continue, look at this, your second utility room. The same color up here, plenty of space. Sometimes when we go up here for the second utility room, it might be just a closet or something like that. You really don't have a lot of walk room, or it might be, perfect for a stackable. But in this instance, you even have some additional cabinetry, drawers, and counter space to work with. So that certainly is a plus. Now heading up here, perfect game room, club room, you name it. The possibilities are endless. The space that you have in here is wonderful. You got your built-ins right there. Look at that. You got like a built-in bench as well. So if you wanted to work with that, you can do that. You have an additional outlet. So if you wanted to put that 75-inch TV right there, you have no challenge. You won't have any challenges. The white oak floors extends this away. So this could be a game room. You have an additional bonus room, and this is not the bonus room that I talked about previously. And heading this way, this is your flex room, or a nice little flex space. So if you were to use that room as a game room, this would be a perfect place for the kiddos. You have access right there to your attic. And then, of course, if you work from home, if there's more than one person in the household that works from home, you can have this as an additional study. And then, of course, you can see that's your attic. You will have your second powder bath up here as well. So if you are entertaining, your guests don't need to walk too far to use the restroom. You see that Calicotta marble continues up here. That painted cabinetry. And then that modern sconce as well. And then you do have your beverage fridge as well as the sink. Okay, so let's head down here a couple steps. Now look at this. You have vaulted ceilings in here, and this all just kind of makes sense when you take a look at the exterior, right? So you have that point, and then what better way to have that painted beam, beautiful chandelier, and your clear story windows. You have some additional shelving right over there, as you can see. And then you got some additional storage right over here. And then those beautiful French doors leading you inside of this area. So you could use this as an additional room if you wanted to, but I would call it a bonus room. Now let's go ahead and pan you this way. This will be our next bedroom. So again, your picture windows here, these are pillow windows. All of these are, so high-end windows. You don't have to worry about that. A queen bedroom set would fit extremely perfect in here. So you see you got your walk-in closet, very generously spaced. You already have your racks, as well as your built-in shelving for your shoes. And look, you even still get incredible views right over here. Now heading inside of our ensuite shower tub combo in here, the chrome sconces, and then the gold mirror frame right there, quartz countertops. Beautiful. And then again, some more views. And I'm telling you, seeing these homes out here in Nashville, having the perspective of being in a lot of homes out in Texas and Florida, and I'm sure you folks can agree with me, I don't think anyone's coming close to Nashville homes. I could be wrong. Let me know if there's another state that you think is in a close running to Nashville. The only one that I can think of course, besides Texas, would probably be Utah. I've seen some amazing homes out there, and then let me know if there's any other states that you'd like to see. In fact, we will be in Utah in the next coming months, so make sure you stay tuned for that. We'll stop by Texas before we head that way, because why not, right? To get you a little bit more catch up on our Texas homes and go from there. But nice deep walk-in closet right over there. Ensuite again. This one's gonna have that shower tub combo, the chrome shower head. Look at that. And then you have that circle mirror with that chrome sconce. So in here you could fit a queen bedroom set without any issues whatsoever. And as you'll notice, remember from the exterior, you have the slope on both sides. So you will notice that the ceiling height in here a little bit lower, probably on the lower end, gosh, maybe 6.5 feet, give or take. And then over there, you can see it increases a little bit more. But an interesting design. Your walk-in closet as well as your bathroom, your full bathroom will be on this side. So each one, very spacious. And then this one have the shower tub combo, as you can see. I typically like to see, with some of these secondary bedrooms, at least have one or two walk-in showers, but I know other folks would certainly disagree. It really wouldn't matter to them too much. Okay, so we about seen almost everything. So that was the 3 bedrooms that we get on this side. Again, for just a recap, you have your game room area right over here, flex space straight ahead, your additional powder bath, and then right over here you have a bonus room that you could make an additional bedroom if you wanted to. Your utility room straight over here, and that was the entire second level. So again, just under 6,000 square feet at 5,961. And that's of interior square footage. That doesn't count, anything that isn't heated, like the garage or the patios. But it feels extremely roomy and spacious. So let's go ahead and head back here and see what we're working with. So now, looking at our screened-in porch, you see that painted brick continues here. That even continues where our fireplace surround is. So real discreet, minimal feel. And then look at that. And then I should mention too, the fireplaces are gas burning and wood burning. So either or, depending on your personal preference. But I love the screened-in area, so you don't have to worry about any insects whatsoever. You open up these sliders here, and you have plenty of space for the indoor, outdoor living. And then look at this, you have 2 access doors. So if you wanted to head to a nice little patio right here, still have some sun, you can put some patio equipment out here. I can appreciate that they have this elevated area right here. So if you do have little ones, they can play right there, maybe put a sandbox, you can add a pool down there, anything of that nature. You have plenty of space to work with. And then even out here, you can add some additional patio equipment. And look at the view. You got your staircase right here. Everything I showed you is completely, it's what you see is what you get, right? Now, aside from the furniture, which is certainly negotiable, I'm sure they will have a conversation with it. They wouldn't be opposed to it. So I encourage you to certainly reach out if that's something that you're interested in. But other than that, family, that was another beautiful luxury home tour. All right, Rankin family, that was it for this beautiful luxury home right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this particular home. Is this something you see yourself living in? Would you make any changes? If so, please let me know in the comments below. Of course, if you want more information about this home or any home we showcase, reach out to the information in the description. Consider hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss a tour every single week. And I'll see you folks on the next property tour. Welcome back to another fantastic property tour, Rankin family. Today, we are back again in Nolensville, Tennessee, looking at another gorgeous luxury home. And I want to give a huge thank you to the listing agent, Jessica McCarty with Compass, for allowing us to tour her beautiful listing. I'll make sure to leave all of the information in the description below. Now, starting on the exterior, family, you see that we have the massive double high-pitched roof, but you also have the board and batten along with the siding and the natural limestone, a nice combination to add to this beautiful home. And you have the wraparound porch. I love that touch, and you're really going to see it all flows together. Now, this home is situated on 2 acres. You're in Rockingham Estates, and so you get a lot of space. And I'm going to turn you around so you can see it fully fenced. You are going to have a gate as well. So this one just hit the market recently. They are finalizing some touches on here, so you will notice some of those things. Now, you do have the natural wood columns as well. So really, at the end of the day, just some beautiful architectural elements to this home that really just stands out. Now, once we get up here, you see the natural limestone continues this way, but you have flagstone on the floor, and that's going to continue over here while it wraps around. Now, get you on this side. Look how neat this is. So you're going to have a total of 3 fireplaces, one right here, one in the family room, and then the additional one inside of the covered patio in the back. Now, look at that. The board and batten continues this way. You have your wooden mantle, and the wooden columns continues this way. So a perfect spot to hang out, have your morning coffee, and look, you have a quick access door leading you in. Beautiful. Okay. So also, you will notice that cream color throughout this home as well. So a neutral color palette. And of course, everything inside of here was absolutely intentional. I just walked through this property and made sure everything was intact. Now you have the glass panes, you have the arch front door, and then let's get you inside of the foyer. Okay, look at what we have here. Beautiful foyer. Immediately whenever you walk in, right here to the right is going to be your dining room. Before we continue, I'll turn you around so you can see the arch front doors from the front. So you have 20-foot ceilings in here, beautiful chandelier hanging down, and you will notice a lot of gold accents throughout this home. Love it. Okay. So now this is your designated study. Sometimes when we go into some of these rooms and it may be used as a guest suite, but in this instance, this is your designated study, and you will have 2 additional bedrooms down here as well. Now you have the vaulted ceilings with the floating reclaimed beams, and you're gonna notice the reclaimed beams throughout, and then you have the white oak floors inside of here. Love that they added the arch window right there with the grids inside. But extremely spacious. You see this massive desk right here, but you still have additional space to fit whatever you need to in here, maybe a couch or something like that. Now, as we continue, of course, straight ahead is going to be our formal dining. Look at that. So you have the white oak ceilings, then you have the massive windows, and that's going to surround so you can have that perfect view of not only the front yard, but the wraparound porch as well. You got your gold chandelier right above our dining room table, extremely spacious. And then you will have those discrete floor registers. So perfect to entertain and have the entire family. You are gonna have carpet in the bedrooms upstairs. We'll see that. But down here, you don't have to worry about that. Now, as we continue this way, I'll show you the family room in just a second. What I want to do is turn you this way, and that way we can see the entire perimeter of the house before we continue. So right over here, you have your coat closet. Then this is going to be your mud area, also known as the drop zone. You have some cabinetry down there. It's going to be the shaker style. And then look at this. You got your gold hooks inside of there are more of like a champagne bronze. You even have an outlet. Then you can add your shoes down there or any accessories. Just have those tucked away and still have that minimal feel. Okay, right over here to the right, of course, is our 3-car garage. I'll show you this. So this was a side entry garage. You still have plenty of driveway available. You take a few steps down here and you can see. So extremely spacious. And then you see you have the windows overlooking your backyard. We'll see that in just a second. We'll get you back out here. So you do have 2 utility rooms. So this will be your first one right here. You have this sliding flat panel custom door right over here. Real discreet, has that soft close mechanism as well. So you don't have to worry about it falling off the hinges. And then look at this. So you got your quartz countertops, a ton of cabinetry and drawers. And then look at this. Perfect for the oversized washer dryer. You got quartz for your folding counter right above that. And then your additional sink. And this will be your side access door over here. But again, you know, really minimal, extremely spacious. And really from the front, it may be deceiving, right? Because you might think, hey, this is probably like a small cottage house or something like that. In fact, this is over 5,000 square feet, believe it or not. So it'll all make sense once we go to the second level and see the rest of the home. But yeah, over 5,000 square feet, when we've seen some homes that look slightly bigger than this from the outside, and they were only 3,500 square feet, 3,700 square feet. So, okay. So this will be your guest suite over here. Cool thing is, you see where the garage is. So if they wanted to come from that quick access door from the utility room and then just head straight into their bedroom, if you have some guests or the mother-in-law over here, this is perfect. But clearly you could fit a queen size bed in here, the whole bedroom set, possibly even a king, to be honest with you. I'll see about getting the dimensions. I don't have them offhand just yet. Now you have your ensuite. Love that they added the shower bench in here. Look at that. Then you got your shower niche, your floor to ceiling tile shower surround. And as I turn you around right over here, look at that. You got your black leathered granite countertops over here. Rest of the home will have the quartz, but you do have a walk-in closet. Okay, so now let's go ahead and get to the bread and butter, what I know you wanted to see. Of course, the family room and the kitchen. Okay, so look at this. So you'll notice that arch theme throughout the home, right? We've seen that a couple times so far, but you have the arch built-ins, custom cabinetry. Then you have the Arca stone fireplace, as you can see, reclaimed beams inside of here, and that's going to continue all the way to the kitchen. So a very seamless transition heading over there. Before we do continue, look at this. So right here, you are going to have the powder bath as well as your bar area. So perfect for serving your guests. You see you got the herringbone backsplash. That's going to be floor to ceiling. Then the custom cabinetry continues this way. Your quartz countertops. You already have a KitchenAid ice maker, as well as a beverage fridge right over there. And the rest of the appliances are going to be Gen Air. So top of the line, stainless steel, paneled, all that good stuff. So you have that massive quartz vanity, beautiful pendant lights. See the massive mirror as well. And then you even have a ledge right there. So that's neat. So it looks like inside of here, we have 10-foot ceilings with the 8-foot sliders right there. And then that's gonna lead you to your covered porch over there as well. And then you already have your built-in pool. And what you see is certainly what you get. So it is for sale as we speak for just under 2.7 million at the time of this recording. So, I mean, goodness gracious, you can get 2 acres, just over 5,000 square feet. Everything you see inside of here, or at least the appliances, for that price. Okay, now you got your open concept dining area. So you have the formal and then more of the informal on this side. Floating shelving right over here. The neat thing is you have 2 sinks. So you have your island sink over there, right? Just washing your hands, serving drinks or something like that. And then your main sink over here, overlooking the front yard and that wraparound porch. Got your quartz countertop, stacked cabinetry, right? And then the quartz on the backsplash. We do have the pot filler. We talk about that all the time in the comments, right? But you got these giant pendant lights right above our island as well. And then look at the space. So you have the 2-tone cabinetry. So you got the matching custom cabinetry as we've seen over there. And then the additional ones right over here. But built-in Genair microwave, your paneled refrigerator. I'll open up some of these drawers for you so you can see the space. We got the soft closing. And when I say it's more of like a secondary sink, right? You see the size of this one, obviously not used or meant to be used as your main one. But look at this. You can fit as many Coke Zeros as you want inside of there. Any drinks that you can fathom. I mean, goodness, you get a 84 pack or something like that. But look at this. So this vent hood right here is like a Roman clay. It's really neat. It's called Portola. But you have that 6-burner range as well as the griddle, of course the pot filler, and then you have these pop out outlets right here. And those are going to be gold right there. A lot of times I've seen them more of that like matte black, but a nice addition to the home. And then that travertine looks like backsplash on this side. So a lot of cool finishes throughout this home. I mean, even just looking at the depth in these cabinets, you can see how spacious it is. So if you haven't let me know, please do inside of the comments what you're thinking about this floor plan. I mean, it's a nice, cozy, intimate floor plan, perfect for families. Okay, so now we're gonna head right over here. To the right is our pantry. So you'll see this right now. Look at this. So that off-white cabinetry continues this way. You got your gold light fixture right above there, some additional counter space, plenty of shelving, and then your drawers and your cabinets right down here. So I love what I'm seeing inside of here. You even have an additional refrigerator right here, like a mini refrigerator. And of course, even over here, look at this. Some additional storage shelving. Okay, so now heading to the primary suite. So I'm gonna show you this first and foremost. So you have this door leading you right there to your backyard. And then look at this. That king size bed, your vaulted ceilings, the exposed beams, shiplap on the top as well. Look how massive the room is in itself. I'm telling you, you're starting to notice where that 5,000 plus square feet is at, right? It's inside of the bonus rooms, the primary bedrooms, the study, things like that. So you will have the separate walk-in closet. It's right there towards the doorway. We'll see that in just a second. I'll do a quick pan again. And you will notice the outlets inside of the baseboard. So if you have any lamps or anything like that, just kind of keep those out of the way. And now heading to our walk-in primary bathroom. Wow. So you got a massive freestanding tub, the mosaic tiling in here, quartz countertops, his and hers sinks. Straight ahead is our water closet. You will have a pocket door inside of there and a storage closet. You'll see that in just a second. But look at that. Really nice color combination. Got your circle mirrors with your gorgeous pendant lights on both sides. Then you got your window with the grid inside of there, glass enclosed shower. You do have your waterfall shower head right above there, as you can see. And then you got another massive shower head, your shower niche. And then this one's zero threshold. So the mosaic tiling continues in here, but then you have the marble floor to ceiling and your shower bench. Love that. And then you will notice that gold trim throughout. So it's matching our circle mirror frame. Love that. And then I'll even do a close up. You see that with the gold hardware right there. And this is the first time I've seen a closet inside of the water closet, right? So if you need to stock up on all the toilet paper, you don't have to worry about yelling to your kids or, your wife or husband about bringing you some toilet paper. I tell you, you can stack up in there and you will be good to go. Okay, as we continue, now here is our walk-in closet. So you only have one, but it is pretty massive in my opinion. You see you got the accent lighting illuminating your wardrobe. You got your additional cabinetry all along right over there, as you can see. And then you even have some floating shelves on this side. So a ton of storage to work with. I mean, goodness, if you cannot fit your wardrobe in here, we might need to be doing some purging or something like that. And then that soft closing even continues in there. Okay. So far, so good. And I believe that was the entire first level. I don't think we missed anything. If we did, you could rewind it back. I think we might have covered it. So now let's go ahead and head to the second level. Again, one more look at that chandelier right there. A neat addition. It's really cool going into a lot of these homes because you get to see different styles of chandeliers. I tell you, it takes me about 10 to 15 minutes as I'm walking through because I want to, make sure I'm saying the right names for a lot of these things, like a 2-tier wagon wheel chandelier or something like that, for example. And Google has this feature on the app where you can take a picture of something and then it kind of gives you an idea of what it is. So that takes me about 15 minutes or so before we start. Okay, so now you see we have the fresh carpet inside of here. Look at this. First bedroom. So the queen bedroom set fits extremely perfect in here. You got your windows, 3 windows with the grids inside overlooking the front yard. As you can see, this is going to have a massive walk-in closet. Look at this. So they didn't skimp on the closet space. You already got your built-in shelving. As you can see, plenty of racks to hang your clothes. And now we'll head this way. So you got your quartz countertops in here. We got that off-white cabinetry, but with the matte black hardware. Got your custom mirror frame with your beautiful modern sconces. As we continue this way, you got your toilet right over here. This is going to be, of course, a shared bathroom. Got tile flooring in here. This is an attic space. So you have some additional storage. And I'll show you how much space that you got in here. So ton of room to work with. You're gonna have your walk-in shower. This one is gonna have its shower bench right there. And if you ever wanted to change out the shower head, you can certainly do that, but I don't see why you would need to unless you want one of those shower wands. And you got your quartz in here, the same mirror frame and sconces. And then this is for the other bedroom. So both of the closets, walk in, extremely spacious. You even have some additional space on top right there. And look at this. So you got a recessed area right here, almost like a little bump out. If you wanted to add that desk, have a gorgeous view. And then the queen bedroom set would fit perfect in here. And again, what I'm doing now is it's in the works as we speak, But sometimes, you know, we may go into some rooms that may be vacant, no furniture in there, and it's hard to really get the best idea about the layout or how much space is actually in there. So we're working on something right now as we speak to possibly add the furniture in, let's say virtually. In fact, it's quite challenging based on the software that we have now, but I'm getting something that'll be appealing to you. So stay tuned for that. Okay. This is our second laundry room, as you can see, but they even have the sink in here. Look at that. That matte black hardware inside of here. That's going to be for a stackable washer and dryer. And you got the checkered tile down there. White oak floors in the main areas, except for the bedrooms, as you can see. Now, this is going to be a shared bathroom. This is going to be for the bonus room, because it's most likely if you're going to use that as a game room or a children's retreat, you'll see why that might make sense. This is going to have that shower tub combo with your brass mirror frame and brass sconce right above there. Tile flooring. And this is your fifth and final bedroom. So this one already has a little built-in desk kind of situation over here. So you can use that if you choose to, or just have that as some, maybe some decor or something like that. But this carpet feels amazing on my feet. Get you around right over here. So each closet was extremely spacious. I mean, all 5 of them that we've seen. So I know you can appreciate that. Now before we head to the last room, let me show you this. Got a coat closet here, or a storage closet if you want to use it. But look how massive this is. So I'll turn you around before we take a look at that area. But you have a dry bar over here, perfect for serving your guests. If you want to have a beverage fridge inside of here, you can do that. You got the LED lighting right underneath here. As you can see, massive light fixture right above there. Perfect amount of counter space. But again, as you can see, look at this. I'll stand on this angle. You can choose to do whatever you please inside of here. If you wanted to use this as a media area, you could do that. This would be a perfect game room. I mean, gosh, having the pool table in here with a poker table, even if you want to just use this as a lounge area, have that massive L-shaped couch or something like that to entertain all your guests, that's perfect. And of course, whenever you walked in, you have the staircase right away, so they don't even need to go to the family room. They just head straight up here and you are good to go. Got your double doors here, leading into the storage closet. Perfect amount of space to entertain. Okay, so that was the entire second level. As you can see, hopefully the floor plan made complete sense to you. And like I said, this is on 2 acres. You're going to have, it's in Rockingham Estate. So you are going to have some more homes being built here. So you don't have to worry about being too lonely out here, but you still will have plenty of space, right? You can see where the property line is. It's completely fenced, even towards the front, as you saw. So hopefully you don't despise neighbors too much. All right, so let's get you out here. So you will notice the flooring, really neat touch. You got unfilled travertine, and that's going to continue even out there towards your pool. Just got my shoes on, sorry about that. Now you have the board and batten that continues here, but then that natural limestone fireplace around your natural wood mantle right there as well. Your painted ceilings back here, or if you want to call it soffit, you can certainly do that. You have a massive kitchen with that natural wood vent hood. I'm telling you, this place is ready to entertain, hosts, gatherings, all of the above. And look how much room you still even got out here. So you saw the amount of space that you had in the front yard, and look at how spacious it is in the back. So the possibilities are endless. If you wanted to have all the amenities out here for the children, grandchildren, anything like that, look how much room you still have available, not to mention even in the front. So you still have that view. And then look at this. massive pool. So I know you can appreciate this because a lot of times, they don't have to do this, right? It is of course appealing, but the fact that they have already have the, the gunite pool is definitely a plus. But other than that, family, that was another beautiful luxury home tour. All right, Rankin family, that was it for this beautiful home right here in Nolensville, Tennessee. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this particular property. Is this something you can see yourself living in? Would you make any changes? If so, let me know in the comments below. Of course, if you want more information about this home or any home we showcase, reach out to the information in the description. Consider hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss a tour every single week. And I'll see you folks on the next property tour. Welcome back to another fantastic property tour, Rankin family. Today, we are located in Thompson Station, Tennessee, looking at another gorgeous luxury home. And I want to give a huge thank you to the listing agent, Danielle Schellenberg with Compass, for making this tour possible. Also, I'd love to give a huge shout out to the builder, Cadre Homes, and I'll make sure to leave all of the information in the description below. Now, starting on the exterior, family, you see that we have the high-pitched roof. Now, on here, you will have the board and batten along with the brick. Now, as far as the color is concerned, you have that forest green, and that's going to continue towards the back exterior as well. Now, you do have a porte-cochere and a nice mortar court over there, and we'll see that a little bit later on in the tour. The home is situated on just over an acre, so plenty of space in the backyard. You'll see that too. And then as we continue this way, look at the aesthetic here. They've done a great job just from the exterior. We talk about that quite often as far as curb appeal, and really at the end of the day, this one definitely stands out. Now, as we continue this way, you're going to have your separate single car garage bay right over here, and then your additional 2-car garage straight ahead. And that's going to make for a total of 3 car garage spaces. Now, as we continue the walkway right here, you see there is a lot of development happening right over here. So I always say get in while you can. And this is certainly one of those opportunities to take advantage of. Now, you do have this modern covered front porch. As you can see, the outdoor gas lanterns, we talk about that setting the tone, and then the herringbone brick right here on the floor. Now, it is raining a little bit right now, but that definitely is not going to stop us from doing a beautiful property tour, and I think you will love this one. Now, I'll set the umbrella down right over here, and let's get you inside of this beautiful property. Okay, so before we continue inside of the great room, I'll turn you around right over here so you can see the double front doors from the inside. Then you see you have additional windows right over there. So you have the 2-story foyer, extremely open and spacious. Look how much room you have over here. Now, of course, with it being staged, you really get an idea of the size of the rooms. Okay, so now continuing over here, you have 12-foot ceilings. You have the natural wood exposed beams, and then the Archistone limestone fireplace around your built-ins on both sides with the floating shelves and your built-in cabinetry. Wow. Love how modern this looks. Now, I'll pan you a little bit closer to the fireplace right over here. So you see that you have the Rasmussen fireballs right over there. So a nice aesthetic. And then of course the herringbone pattern inside of our firebox. Now continuing right over here, you have 8-foot sliders. That's going to open up so you can have that indoor outdoor living. And then of course you clearly see that we have an additional fireplace back there. But I'll do a full pan of this room and then we'll continue. So I love how spacious it is inside of here. You got white oak flooring, and then of course the white oak inset cabinetry as soon as we enter inside of the kitchen. Now you're gonna have the waterfall countertops, two-tone counters. Then of course you have the panel ready inset refrigerator, as you can see right there. So has that minimal feel, really discreet. And then of course the two-tone cabinetry, as you can see. So you have chrome hardware, you got the panel ready dishwasher. And as always, we'll open this up for you. I always love when I hear that sound when we open up these. So that's monogram, as you can see. And then we got our trash drawer right over here. And then, like I said, all of it is inset. You know, we go back and forth with if you like the inset or the overlay, but I found, you know, the best properties, at least as of my experience, are starting to have more of that inset style. Now, of course, it is personal preference, and I always welcome your feedback below. Let's open up the refrigerator. So you see you got the monogram. So as we talk about quite often, the best money can buy. It's one thing you really want to look at when you're exploring these beautiful properties. Then you see you got your upper cabinets right over there. The 12-foot ceilings continues here and the exposed beams. So you'll notice that'll run from the kitchen all the way to the great room. So you can imagine hanging out here with your entire family. So not only do you have space to entertain right here along the bar on the island, but then additional space over there in the great room and then your dining area. So you got your sink inside of your island, as you can see, but look how roomy and spacious it is. You know, with 12-foot ceilings, it really does a great job of just creating that airy atmosphere. And I always love to see it. You know, 12+ foot ceilings is always going to be your best bet. Now, of course, you got these gorgeous light fixtures right above your island as well. And then before we continue, let me make sure you see inside of these cabinets and drawers as well. So you can see how much space you get. You have a ton of shelving continuing all the way up. And then right here where your vent hood is, you will have the Archistone limestone as well. So a nice combination, and especially as we start to head into, you know, we're halfway through 2025 right now, but as we start to go into 2026, I make the statement that I believe we're going to start seeing a lot more of that. Now, heading inside of our dining area, look at the vaulted ceilings in here. You see, you're surrounded by the windows again. Then you have the wood paneling on the ceiling. Nice architectural detail. And then, of course, I did add the designer's information in the description for you to check out their portfolio as well. You got Studio 36. But look how spacious it is. Even just the modern light fixtures, you know, I just love when we see a lot of these elegant features throughout. You know, it's really in the details once we head throughout these properties, right? And then not to mention you have your modern LED chandelier right above there. Okay, so let's go ahead and head this way. We're gonna make our way around the perimeter of the home. Everything's gonna make sense for you, so don't even worry about it. So now you have a dual entry working pantry. So of course you can enter in from both sides of the kitchen. You already got your massive sink right over there. You see you got your cappuccino maker. If you wanted to make some cappuccino, you could do that. French vanilla. You got your monogram built-in microwave as well. You got the inset white oak cabinetry. Inside of here, you see we have the matte black hardware, as you can see, but you have a ton of counter space. You got quartz and some additional storage right over here. So I'm loving the way the countertops complements the cabinetry in here. Very elegant, lovely look. And then as we continue this way, so right over here, you see this is where our portraiture is. I'll just give you a quick glimpse of that. It's starting to rain a little bit more over here, as you can see. So you can enter in here. Most of the times, if you're not using the garage, you're probably going to pull in to your driveway and then enter in right over here. Now, heading into our first bedroom. So I heard it often, you know, named when it's sometimes this close to the pantry or the kitchen. Some folks call it nanny quarters, but of course you can use this as a guest suite, and you're going to see an additional private bedroom that you may want to make an in-law suite. But in here, you can fit that king bedroom set without any challenges whatsoever. Even with the vaulted ceilings, creates that extremely spacious feel. And of course, going inside of our walk-in closet, you already have your built-in shelving right over here. And then along over here, you have your rods, so you can hang up anything you may need. So plenty of space if it was utilized as a guest suite. You got room to work with. Down here, you see we have our additional white oak cabinetry inset again. So that's a common theme we're seeing throughout. You got crown molding up top. You got your chrome sconces and chrome mirror frame. And look how spacious this walk-in shower in here. So you will have the zero threshold, as you can see right down here, I'm panning you downwards. But you got a oversized shower niche surrounded by that chrome right over there. And then a chrome shower head and shower valve. So beautiful finishes. That's one thing I'm taking so far throughout our tour. And before we continue, I always like to open up every single door. If you're new to the channel, I try to open up as many doors as possible, because even when I'm watching the video back, you know, if I miss a door, I'm telling you, that's one of my all-time pet peeves of myself, right? When I'm going through, why didn't you open that door? Let me rewind time a little bit. Okay, now going into our utility room. Plenty of space for an oversized washer and dryer. You got your upper cabinetry right above there. This is gonna have that sage green color, but you have quartz countertops, some additional cabinetry, and look at this. Nice pocket door. That modern glass pane or panels right there with the privacy aspect. Look at that. So a ton of shelving. And of course, you got your little folding counter right over there. Pull up a chair, fold clothes with ease. You got a ton of space. Okay, now let's go ahead and continue. This will be coming in from our additional garage right over here, right? So you got your drop zone, as you can see, or mud room. You already got your hooks available. You got some additional storage right over there, cubby space right there. And then look at that, you already got your built-in bench. So if you're using that as cubby space, you could do that. But then of course you can always use that as assistance for putting on your shoes, right? Got our coat closet right over here. You have a ton of storage right underneath here. So additional rod right over here, but that continues back here. So plenty of space to store. So if you just come back from a long trip, you don't even have to worry about hauling your luggage throughout the entire home. You just go ahead and store that right in there. Take out the clothes you need, and you are good to go. Now, as mentioned, your 2-car garage, but look how high the ceilings are inside of here. So you have a quick access door leading to your backyard. You will have a pool bath as well. We'll see that a little bit later on. So that's attached. So if you don't decide to add a pool in here, then of course you could use that just for the guests, little outhouse or something like that. But you got your tankless water heater inside of here as well. So now, before we continue, you already seen the staircase in the front, right? But as mentioned it a few minutes ago, but you're gonna have that perfect room up here. So it's its own private suite. Right before you enter, you got some additional shelving right over here. But look at this. This is gonna have its own ensuite and separate walk-in closet. So imagine who would get this. So as you can see, you have carpet inside of here, but a massive king bedroom set would fit in here without any challenges whatsoever. Even if you wanted to have an additional desk, a sitting area, use this as like a reading nook, then you can certainly do that. And then look at this. Okay. So again, the quartz countertops right over here. You got your matte black sconces, as you can see right above there. And then a nice walk-in shower. So even the secondary bedrooms are getting these massive walk-in closets, or walk-in showers rather, I'm sorry. Got your oversized shower niche right over there. Oh, that's neat. That little wheel on your shower valve. Pretty cool. First I've seen that. So like I said, perfect for the in-laws or any guests that come over here, or you might have one of those kids that are hitting that teenage stage that may want to have that room right over there. But of course, to each his own. Okay. So we've seen this wing of the house, and trust me, we are just getting started right now. Wait till you see the study and of course the primary bedroom. So you come back out here, give you another look at the great room. Beautiful. And you can see how bad it's raining now. Luckily we're inside. Okay, before we continue this way, got your additional storage right over here. So you are going to have two half baths, right? So one inside and then one, as I mentioned, that pool bath that we'll see a little bit later on. So going in here, you see that we have the shiplap wainscoting right down here for the lower exterior. You got your swivel mirror, your matte black sconces, and then they decided to go for the same countertop. So you got your quartz inset and the chrome hardware. Now heading down this hallway to the right, of course, is the primary bath, but I want to show you the designated study first and foremost. So inside of here, you see all the accent walls in here. You see that forest green, even the ceiling is painted. Look at that modern light fixture right above our desk. Wow. So extremely roomy and spacious. I should even mention too, you even have the modern iron door with the glass panels in there. So you talk about luxury, even just entering inside of your designated study. Wow. And quite frankly, for the price point, for the amount of land that you get, for the location, really great value. Okay. Look at this. All right. So I'll pan you upwards. You see we have our vaulted ceilings, then the natural wood beams right over there, modern chandelier hanging down. But then look at that. You got your own massive fireplace, the same size as the one we had just seen inside of the great room, with the Arca stone on the fireplace around the herringbone pattern firebox, as you can see. And then look at that. You even have so much space for your sitting area. And then let's stand on this side. Of course, that is a king size bed with your two nightstands. But look how spacious it is inside of here. Then you also have little alcoves on both sides. So a little recessed area if you wanted to have it as they have it, right? Of course, with the decor, you can certainly do that. But the white oak floors extends this way. And then look at this. So before you head into your primary bath, you got a wet bar over here. So you can use this as a coffee station. If you are a coffee drinker, this will be perfect for you. You got a beverage fridge right over there. And then your floating shelving right above that. Now, heading inside of our primary bath, look at this too. So the one thing I know you can appreciate, especially my long-term subscribers, really not too fond of the wet room concept, but the fact that you have this separate freestanding soaking tub right there, your glass enclosed walk-in shower, perfect combination. Before we do continue, I'll show you our first vanity. You got the his and hers sinks, modern sconces. Look at that. So this one is going to be the zero threshold again. You got the hexagon tile flooring inside of here. And then look at that. You already got your built-in shower bench, dual shower heads. You got your shower wand over there. That's the perfect size for a walk-in shower. And then of course, right over here, so you don't have to worry about privacy too much, right? Because you're most likely going to have shades right over there, blinds. So you can always close that off, but until your neighbors get there, this will be a perfect place for you to take a nice bath. Water closet straight ahead, your additional vanity this way. So same finishes as you can see. You got your towel closet right over here. And then your walk-in closet. Already excited to see the floor to ceiling shelving inside of here. And look at the room that you get. So with the increased shelving that you get all the way up top, you have a ton of storage for any size wardrobe, as we talk about quite often. You got crown molding, recessed lights inside of here. You got two built-in window benches, and then even your built-in dresser and increased shelving right above that. So pretty impressive. Let me know your thoughts on the primary suite itself as a whole. Did you like this extra wet bar right here? Nice feature that oftentimes you don't see that unless you build custom. You custom build your home from scratch, but the fact that this is in a spec home, I know you can certainly appreciate that. Okay, so we've seen the entire first level. Now, let's go ahead and see the second level. We'll go up the staircase. As you can see, we got white oak floors continuing up here. Now, look at this. So you have a little nook area right over here. So you have an additional window, bringing in some natural light. So you can, of course, use this as a reading nook. Let me know if that's a good use of this space. And of course, if you didn't want to use this as that, just go ahead and use that as, possibly, you could add some decor there or something like that. Now, straight over there is going to be our two bonus rooms. So most likely you're going to use this as a game room and a theater room. But before we continue in there, you see you have your double sliding doors right over here. Very nice touch, especially when you walk in. You can see these doors from the front door. So creates that wow factor as well. So you see how much space you have inside of here. If you wanted to add that massive couch, entertain, you can do that. If you wanted to use this as a club room, you can certainly do that. A ton of uses for this space in general. Now, heading to our theater room. I know you can appreciate there's no windows inside of here. Of course, you could always add those sconces down the road if you wanted to create more of that theater-like feel. But you have a ton of room to work with. You could see, you have the ceiling height where you can go ahead and add the projector, add your screen right over there, and you are good to go. And I know I got a comment recently about showing the attic spaces a little bit more often. So maybe some folks don't really care about this, but to some other folks, maybe this will be useful for you. So you have a ton of storage space over there as well. You can use that as you please. And I'll do one more pan of the theater room. Okay, so we've seen a total of 3 bedrooms. Your additional 2 are straight ahead over here. So we'll continue this way. You just go down these steps right over here and then head to your next bedrooms. So even this one is extremely spacious. You got your modern light fixture right above there, your crown molding, and then your ensuite. We'll see that in just a second. Okay, a ton of room to work with. Heading into your ensuite. So different finishes as you can see in here. You got sage green cabinetry. Inset though, every single one of the cabinets has been that inset. Get your matte black sconces, your circular mirror. This one's gonna have that shower tub combo, as you can see. But you have a nice deep tub, even with a shower niche. And a pretty good sized walk-in closet. You already have built-in drawers, built-in rods, and your built-in shelving. And then even look at the width right here between the drywall and the vanity right there. So extremely spacious, a lot of room to work with in here. I mean, with this being just over 6,000 square feet, you know you got room to play with in here. Now heading into our fifth and final bedroom, vaulted ceilings, as you can see. You got your window straight ahead over there. Queen bedroom set would fit perfectly in here without any challenges. You will have a walk-in shower. So if you're not too fond of the shower tub combo, this will be perfect for your secondary bedrooms. You got your quartz countertops, your modern sconces. The crown molding even extends inside of here. That's a massive towel closet, as you can see. So you can use that as a second closet in this bedroom. And then even look at this. You can see the size of the walk-in shower right here. Extremely spacious. So each walk-in shower that we had seen, even in the secondary bathrooms, has been massive. And then if you don't know anything about Thompson Station, so we are close to Franklin, Tennessee, but you still have, you still have access to all the amenities that you need. You're probably about, I'd say about 10 minutes away from a major freeway. You just hop on there, get to wherever you need to go. And of course you can head north and it gets you right there to Brentwood, downtown Nashville if you need to be. Gosh, it's probably about, I'd say about 35, 40 minutes away from downtown Nashville, just for reference for you. So if you don't need to be in the city too often, this would be a good spot for you. And of course, depending on where you spend a majority of your time, right, is going to determine what makes the most sense for you. Okay, now heading out to our outdoor patio right over here. Look at that. You got your wood clad ceilings here. You can see your see-through fireplace right over there, straight ahead. Now the fireplace around, you're going to have that brick that we've seen throughout the exterior. So they kept it, complementing the exterior materials. You see that Rasmussen fireballs right over there. Even the herringbone pattern continues inside of there. And then I'll stand on this angle so you can see. So they even painted the columns that forest green too. But your massive sliders right over here, like I said, creating the indoor-outdoor feel that we're so much used to. Now look at the space that you have in your backyard. So if you wanted to add a pool, you can certainly do that down the road, but you just have a lot of room to play with. And not only that, you just have space between you and the neighbors. And then straight ahead, family, that is where our half bath is going to be. Now, of course, it is raining. I don't even have shoes on, so I would get you out there, but just take my word for it. That's your pool bath right there. But other than that, family, that was another beautiful luxury home tour. All right, Rankin family, that was it for this beautiful luxury home right here in Thompson Station, Tennessee. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this particular property. Is this something you could see yourself living in? Would you make any changes? If so, let me know in the comments below. Of course, if you want more information about this home or any home we showcase, reach out to the information in the description. Consider hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss a tour every single week. And I'll see you folks on the next property tour. Welcome back to another fantastic property tour, Rankin family. Today, we are back again in Nashville, Tennessee, looking at another gorgeous luxury home. And I want to give a huge thank you to the listing agents, Kelly Potter and Sam Coleman Dancer, for making this tour possible. I'll be sure to leave all of the information in the description below. Now, starting on the exterior, family, you see that we have that gorgeous contemporary look. You have the painted white brick along with the wood accents. You got a front facing balcony. We'll get to that a little bit later on as well. Then you have a 3-car garage. So your single car garage bay is straight ahead, and then your additional 2-car garage is right there to the right. Now you're situated on just over half an acre. You have plenty of space between you and the neighbors, and look how long the driveway is. So if it's one of those things where you are entertaining, you will not have to worry about parking whatsoever. Now you do have lush landscaping and river rock surrounding the walkway and the driveway. So a nice touch to the curb appeal. And then I'll give you a better close-up of the materials on the exterior. So really at the end of the day, this just screams luxury, especially when you're driving by. You will not miss this. Now, as we continue, huge covered front porch. You see the columns are surrounded by the painted white brick, and then you have the modern wall lights as well. Now, once you enter inside of here, look at the abundance of windows. A ton of natural light extends inside of there, so you don't really have to worry about having the lights on during the day. Perfect. Okay, let me get my shoes off and then we'll go ahead and get inside of this beautiful property. Okay, so I'll pan you upwards. Look at this. You have your gorgeous modern chandelier with the gold accents surrounding those, and then I'll turn you around so you can see the front door from the inside. So I love our double front door with the massive glass panels. And then right when you walk into the right, you have a spacious study. So you have your modern light fixture right above your desk here. Of course, the double doors extends inside of here. You got tall baseboards and then recessed lights. And that's gonna be a common theme as we walk through the property. You're gonna see a ton of recessed lights. So even, let's say it's a gloomy day like today, you can go ahead and have the lights on and it will illuminate the entire property without any challenges. So as we continue, we'll look right here. So they're doing a couple final touch-ups in here. You're gonna have a chrome rod in there. You don't have to worry about that. But look, as soon as we enter in the great room. So really, whenever you walk in, you see the soaring ceilings, the herringbone pattern wood ceiling, really neat touch. I've never seen that, quite frankly, in any house. So I can appreciate the boldness on there. Now, as we look at our fireplace, look at that floor to ceiling. You see you have your floating shelves. You got the LED strip on each shelf, so it illuminates that as well. So if you have decor or anything like that, that will certainly be illuminated. Now, you see we have our sliders. That's going to lead you to your covered, screened in porch over there. Plenty of space. And like I said, you know, I'm going to say that quite often, but entertaining is not a challenge inside of this home. But look at the depth there. You can see how grand this looks, especially once we go into our kitchen. Massive vent hood. Look how huge that looks right over there. Then you see the flat panel custom cabinetry continuing. You got your matte black hardware, huge oversized island. You got quartz countertops. You got your bar area right over here. And then you will notice the cabinetry and drawers surrounding the entire island. So storage is not going to be a problem in here whatsoever at all. And you get to take advantage of that. Now you do have a pot filler. You see the quartz backsplash extending upwards. Thermador appliances. Then you have the panel ready refrigerator. We'll see that in just a second. And then you got some accent lighting right underneath those drawers right over there. And of course, as always, we open up some of these cabinets so you can see how much space you got. So you got a ton of shelving. I'll even open this one up for you. So you can see the stacked cabinets on top, and then I'll give you a better close-up of this oversized vent hood. Love to see that. And then, you know, my long-term subscribers, we talk about that quite often. Once we see a pot filler, the rest of the home speaks for itself. So if you're new to the channel, just know that typically is the case. Now, there are some exceptions, so I'm not going to hold that against anybody, but love when I see that. Okay, right above our island, you can see that LED light fixture. So that's going to illuminate the entire island itself. You got the accent lighting surrounding that as well. Then you have a built-in Thermador microwave. Right over here, you got your panel ready dishwasher. Everything is brand spanking new, ready for its new owner. And that's one thing I know you can appreciate. Look, you even have your manual still inside of there. So that's how brand spanking new it is. Now they are doing some open houses for the property. So of course there are some beverages in there, but look at this. So now you continue this way and then you have your butler's pantry. You already have your built-in sink. Right over here is your ice maker. Your quartz countertops extends over here. Your floating shelving, some additional cabinetry and drawers over here, as you can see. As I'm turning you around over this way, some more floating shelves, and you might be wondering, where does this lead? If you haven't guessed it already, this is your single car garage. So you even have a ton of space inside of here, and then we'll see our additional 2-car garage in just a second. But before I head out of this room, let's make sure you see the depth inside of these cabinets. So all of them have that soft close mechanism. And then even inside of the butler's pantry, look at that. You have the extended quartz backsplash. Okay, so now let's go ahead and continue to our dining area. Look at this. You got your accent wall, huge. So of course, that's your 8-seater dining table, but you see how much walk room you still have available. Then you got your upper windows right over there. The recessed lights, modern light fixture right above our dining room table. So like I mentioned earlier, the abundance of windows in here bringing in a ton of light. You don't have to worry about any challenges whatsoever. Okay, so the cool thing is you're gonna have 4 bedrooms on the second level, right? You're gonna have your primary right over here on this level, and then an additional room on the lower level, which we'll see. I guess you would classify it as a basement. But you got your washer and dryers. Look how much cabinetry right above that. Counter space over here. You got your black leathered countertops over here. The flat panel custom cabinet doors continues here. You got your sink and some additional storage in there. And everything is soft closing. So of course, this would be coming in from your 2-car garage. You got your drop zone right here, or mudroom if you like to call it that. Your coat closet right over there. And let's see how spacious the 2-car garage is. All right. Pretty impressive. It'll just kind of come full circle. So if you didn't want to open up that garage door, of course, you have that door leading you to more of your motor court. But I love the privacy glass inside of there. And I don't know if you've ever seen it before. I mean, you definitely have on the channel if you stuck around with me for a little bit. But there is we've seen a couple homes where they have the clear glass as far as the garage door is concerned. And, you know, I got some feedback about that, you know, from a privacy standpoint, really weren't too fond of it. So I can certainly see where you know, the comments were coming from. So I'd love to hear your thoughts if you like the privacy glass on the garage door or just the see-through standard glass. Okay, now this is our powder bath. Look at that pendant light right over there. So modern details inside of here. You can see completely painted black. You got your accent wall right over here. That's going to extend. So you got like a little partition wall between the toilet and the vanity right there. Nice little feature. Okay, now this is where the magic happens. Look at our primary suite, our king size bed, 2 nightstands. Look at that accent wall. Really neat, extending all the way to the ceiling. It feels like we have 12-foot ceilings in here, but you got the modern light fixture right above there. That nice wood slat, really nice feature. I can appreciate that. Then you have your gold sconces right there for your nightstands, and look how much room you still have even over here. So of course you got your dresser, you got some additional chairs right over here for a nice sitting area, that quick access door leading to your screened in porch. We'll see that in just a second. I want to show you the primary bath before we do continue. But look how spacious this is. So you got your floating vanity, quartz countertops, your champagne bronze spout, as you can see, as far as your faucet is concerned. And then look at that, those modern pendant lights. You got 3 of those. You got porcelain tile surrounding the bathroom. Look at how large this enclosed wet room is. And I'll give you a quick glimpse. We'll see that in just a second. You are going to have his and hers closets. Look how spacious this is. You got floor to ceiling shelving. You got your modern LED light fixtures. You got 2 of those. You got your built-in dresser. Got some additional quartz, and then you see that champagne bronze rod on all of the sides, and we've seen that in that coat closet as well, so that's a nice touch as well. Straight ahead, our water closet, you see our mirror, we have the LED surrounding that. But what I'm excited about is this. Look at this. Oh my goodness. You got 3 waterfall shower heads right over there, so steam is certainly going to be happening in here. You're going to have a ton of steam inside of here. But you got your freestanding tub. You know, we always talked about that as far as the, the tub inside of the shower. But quite frankly, we've been seeing that more and more often. So that trend is definitely happening here in 2025. Then now heading into our next closet. You got your closet island right here, quartz countertops, built-in dresser. And look at that, floor to ceiling. And, you know, we talk about that so often. And that's one of those things that I can certainly appreciate. When it continues all the way to the ceiling, you don't have to worry about a lot of dead spaces, I like to say. You can take advantage of the entire room. And of course, you have recessed lights in there. But I want to do a close-up for you. Look at this. So you got your dual sinks. You even got the champagne bronze towel holder right over there. Love what I'm seeing. And I believe if I didn't open up this closet, just so you can see that. Okay, so now, since we're already here, we might as well take a look at the screened in porch real quick. You are gonna have a fireplace out here. So perfect place to entertain, have a good time with the entire family. It being screened in, I know you can appreciate keeping the insects out and don't have to worry about swatting any flies or anything like that the whole day. Look at that. So you got the painted white brick fireplace around. You got your mantle right over there, herringbone pattern in the firebox. You got board and batten, as you can see, on the lower exterior. So of course, if you open up these sliders, you have that indoor-outdoor living that we talk about quite often. But more importantly, look how spacious it is. And before we get out of here, I'll make sure to show you the view right over here. So you have your iron fence, you still have some yard to work with. And of course, the front yard, you had a ton of space too. Okay, so that looked like that was the entire first level. I don't believe we missed anything. Let's go ahead and get you to our second level. Now, you will notice the glass panels up your staircase right over there, right? Then of course, you got your updated staircase, more like that floating staircase design. Then as we head up here, You got your accent wall, some additional windows right over there. I want to start over here to the left for you. Look at this. Okay. So this looks more of like that game room, but there's additional bonus room. So I like to say bonus room. Sometimes I use those interchangeably, but remember the front facing balcony on the exterior. You got your sliders leading you that way, but then you are going to have a full wet bar with a beverage fridge down here. So an additional spot for you to entertain. You will notice the raised ceilings inside of here as well. Now let's get you out here so you can see the front yard as well. So you can hang out here with your guests. Of course, you can have the sliders open at all times if you are entertaining. And this would be your view. So you have the mature trees surrounding this. Like I said, the landscaping, of course, you can see your neighbors right over there, but there still is some privacy between everyone, so you don't have to worry about that. And then you will see the modern LED wall lights out here as well. So let me know in the comments what you would use this room for. You know, it's always nice whenever you see some of these rooms and spaces, because it just sometimes sets off some light bulbs in your head about what you would do with it, right? Of course, you got your furnace right over here. So like I mentioned earlier, there's a total of 4 bedrooms on this level. So look how spacious it is. And here, of course, the queen bedroom set without any challenges. So if you have the kiddos up here, you have some family living with you, they even still have a walk-in closet. And then this one's going to be an ensuite shower tub combo. Got the matte black shower head, shower valve. And then that's going to continue right over here. So you have the white flat panel overlay cabinetry right up here. And there was overlay as well in the kitchen. And you know, sometimes I do get, after I go back through the comments quite often, and sometimes I'll see, you know, what folks are saying, if I'm getting new feedback and things like that. And I get, you know, kind of mixed reviews between the overlay style cabinets and the inset cabinets. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Maybe we can create a poll or something like that. But this will be our next bedroom. As you can see, still have the walk-in closet with your built-in shelving right here available. And we just missed the rain. If you couldn't tell, it was raining heavy just about 30 minutes ago. I was kind of worried. I didn't know if I was going to have to use the umbrella, but we got here just in time. Now this is going to be a shared bathroom, as you can see, but you still have the flat panel cabinets. Got this massive pendant light hanging down right over your vanity. Then the herringbone pattern floor to ceiling shower surround. Look at that. Then you got a shower niche. Got your black shower head and shower valve again in here. And of course, you could always add that shower bench down the road if you need to. But with these being the secondary bathrooms, and this one in this case would be a shared one between that bonus room right over there, I don't think you have to worry about it. Okay, before we continue, I'll give you a better close-up since we're right up on it. As far as this modern chandelier, like a ring chandelier, really neat feature. Next bedroom. So this one is going to be an ensuite as well. Queen bedroom set, fit perfectly in here. You see we have had 0 carpet. The white oak floors continuing up here. Similar walk-in closet, as you can see. Now you will notice the same cabinet doors and drawers as we've seen inside of the kitchen, but you do have the quartz countertops the matte black modern sconce right above there. And I'll give you a close up in the shower surrounding here. And you see the herringbone shower flooring right there. And then this will be your fourth bedroom. And like I said, so you see some blue tape here and there. They're doing some final touch-ups in here. But really overall, a great property. And what's neat is they just staged it as well. So I know I had to get you folks inside of here just to really see how beautiful the property is. Sometimes, you know, if I show a vacant home, it really, I don't think I really don't think the audience appreciates it. I know I get here, you know, some folks here and there that say they like it unstaged, but you know, there's a reason why staging does exist. I think it does enhance the appeal. So I can appreciate it. We just got here in time, you know, before it was too late and it's old. But look at this. Really neat sconces. That glass panel right over there. Inside of here, you got the shaker style. Quartz countertops. Really nice. They go really well together. Right now, we're actually searching for a home to move in, me and my family, pretty soon. This will be the second utility room you see, and it comes with a washer and dryer for both of the laundry rooms. But we're actively looking for, you know, a home right now to move in, to purchase, and we've been going back and forth with the matte black for our cabinets, as far as the hardware is concerned, or if we should go with the gold. Me personally, I like the white cabinet doors or cabinetry in general with the gold hardware. Really looks nice for, you know, us and stuff. So me and my fiance have been going back and forth on what makes the most sense. So we'll probably be moving in there around December, January timeframe. Okay, now this is where the magic happens. Let's start right over here to the right in our theater room. So this is the only place we are going to have the carpet. And of course, what other place do you want to have carpet than the media room, right? Or the theater room in this instance. So you see our modern sconces on both sides. You see we already got our built-in projector, and what you see is what you get. Of course, the staging is negotiable. Most of the times it's not. But if the number's right for you, and of course the cellar, then we could always make some accommodations. But you can see how spacious it is. Now, inside of here, you're gonna have an unfinished storage closet. You see our spray foam insulation that's gonna continue over here. You can always finish it, but if not, if you're just gonna use this as storage, you don't really have to worry about it too much. But you even have recessed lights inside of here. You can dim those, of course, and that way you have that theater-like feel. Almost feel like you're in a movie or at the movies. Now you are gonna have your wine closet right here. You see the glass door right over here. Look at that. Beautiful wood paneling here, and then you got the quartz on top right over there. Now, if you did want to entertain right over here, you have no challenges. Of course, on the top level, you have a wet bar, right? But in here, you have a secondary refrigerator, built-in microwave, your floating shelving, and then of course your sink and plenty of cabinet storage. You see you got your black leathered countertops over here as well. Look at the additional storage you get to work with. And then you're gonna have one bedroom down here as well, and that's gonna make for a total of 6. So you got your furnaces over here. Let's see if I got the light. Okay. Some additional storage, that spray foam insulation. You got your tankless water heater right over here. And like I said, they're finalizing some touch-ups, but a ton of space and a ton of room to work with. But this is a neat feature right over here. I'm going to show you this right now before we continue. But look at this. This is going to lead to your full bath. So this will be a shared bathroom right here. You would never notice that, right? Almost look like that butler's pantry that we've seen in the kitchen. But I don't think I've seen that before, leading to a bathroom before. But really neat. All right, so our next one right here, if you want to use this as an in-law suite, you can certainly do that because they have access to a nice little covered patio area that way. And then look at your full bath. So you see that off-white cabinets, or those off-white cabinets, and then you got the gold hardware, and then the floor to ceiling wood accent walls, that wood-like tile. It's not wood, but it's like a wood-like tile. You got your gold sconce right above there, enclosed or glass enclosed, walk-in shower, and then that wood-like tile. It's like a ceramic tile, ceramic wood-like tile. Continues that way. And then just to bring it full circle, this is where you would head out to. Really neat feature. Okay, so straight ahead, this will be your perfect exercise room. Can you imagine adding in the treadmill, the Stairmaster, your dumbbell rack, maybe a squat rack or two, the Bowflex machine? If you're still not doing P90X, then you can always do that. And then of course, you know, a lot of folks, especially in their home gyms, they want to have the wall-to-wall mirrors inside of here. So you could certainly add that. And then you even have an additional area over here. Look at this. So let me know what you would use this room for. Maybe you could separate the two. So maybe you could use this as the cardio room and the other one is the weight room, or vice versa, right? But that really just depends. And then if you're into Pilates or yoga, this would be a good area for you too. And then this is where you can supply all your yoga accessories. And if it gets too hot, you open up those windows and get you some ventilation. Okay, last but certainly not least, right over here. So you had your screened in porch right above there, and then now heading back here. You know, it's funny because I use patio and porch interchangeably, right? And I understand that patios typically are, you know, an extension from the house, right? They're extended out. It's not necessarily under the roof or anything like that, but you know what I mean. I like to say both, but if you want to use a covered porch, certainly is fine. But like I said earlier, this is about a little over half an acre, right? So you had a ton of space in the front yard and you have some space in the back. So you still have enough room to add that trampoline or, you know, a little area where you can have a bonfire, something like that. You still have a lot of room. But other than that, family, that was another beautiful luxury home tour. All right, Rankin family, that was it for this beautiful luxury home right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this particular property. Is this something you could see yourself living in? Would you make any changes? If so, let me know in the comments below. Of course, if you want more information about this home or any home we showcase, reach out to the information in the description. Consider hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss a tour every single week. And I'll see you folks on the next property tour.